name is Kevin Giesland. I am not a financial or tax expert. I am a real estate investor that can talk about investment properties all day. I love it. It's exciting. You get to make a ton of money if things are done the right way and numbers work. All that to say, I would love to give you some information today about some mistakes that I've made, specifically with tenants, that hopefully will save you headaches and money in the future. First item here is probably the biggest mistake I've ever made. It's definitely the most foolish, is driver's license. Why is this important? One of the first properties that we had rented out, we showed it to this individual. They liked the property, they were going to move in, great. Let's get that security deposit, let's get a signed lease, let's rock and roll. The issue was, she gave a fake name. I never looked at her driver's license, I didn't get pay stubs, bank statements, anything like that. So the name on the lease was not correct. The name when I had to evict, go file it at the courthouse, was not correct. So luckily we were able to get her out of the property. Having said that, it was, one, I looked really idiotic at the courthouse when I'm putting the wrong name on there. But two, it was more of a process to actually get her out. One of the reason we had to evict her was a second mistake I've made. Don't allow a tenant to move in until you have the entire security deposit as well as the full first month rent. This was a situation where the tenant gave us security deposit, gave us, I think it was like $300 to $500 off the first month, and said, hey, I'll pay you the rest on Tuesday, can I move in over the weekend? And we allowed her to do so. All of a sudden, Tuesday became Friday, and then Friday became Wednesday, and then Wednesday became Tuesday. And before you know it, now we're 2, 3, 4 weeks down the line before we can even start the eviction. Well, we could have started the eviction process, but we didn't because we gave her more time. So again, don't let a tenant move in, and I would highly encourage you not to let them leave furniture or anything else in the property before the lease date. And if you do let them move something in before they're actually moving in, I would have confirmation that they do have rental insurance, so that way if something were to happen to their belongings before they moved in, it's not your fault. So, second item here, we have predominantly students that we work with, and a big thing that we found to be successful is cosigners. Now the reason for this, most of our properties are 3 or 4 bedroom, in most cases 4 bedroom, that's 4 separate students. So what we found out in our experience, students aren't afraid of us, they're afraid of their parents. They're afraid of mom and dad just spent $20,000 for me to go to college, now they have to spend an extra $1,500 on top of security deposit because of damages or whatever else they might have done. So all that to say, we tell our tenants we need at least one cosigner. Now what normally happens is if tenant 1's dad has to cosign, he's gonna say, well, why am I cosigning if tenant 3's dad is not cosigning? So only 1 or 2 of our properties have one cosigner, all the rest, every tenant has 1 or 2 parents cosigning. Gives me a peace of mind. There's an extra person that's tied on there. The kids a lot of times don't even think about evictions and a judgment or credit or whatever, but parents usually think of that a lot more. So again, it's just another layer of protection with the tenants. The next item here is being extremely clear. Very, very clear. So what do I mean by that? There's a lot of important things in the lease. The issue with that is leases are typically 10, some of them are 45 pages long. No tenant, especially young adult or student or whatever, is going to be reading that entire lease and underlining the big key items. Along with this, myself, I've assumed in the past that tenants knew certain things. And that's just not the case. They lived with family, they lived in a dorm, they lived in an apartment. They don't understand how it works. You don't need to get a phone call at midnight because a light bulb is out. A phone call at midnight is if there's a fire or a safety issue. That should be it. Those types of things should be told up front. They should be communicated in email. Something that we're actually going to start doing this coming year, in addition to the lease, we're going to have one extra sheet with certain bullet point items, and we're going to require the tenants to sign that sheet as well. Now, I'm not saying that that would hold up in court or anything like that. All that to say is when a tenant wants to argue with you and fight back, you could bring that sheet up and say, look, there's 4 or 5 bullet points that I specifically told each one of you to read, and y'all signed at the bottom saying y'all read it. The number one thing that we've run into is flushable wipes. We've had several different properties, several different plumbers, several different tenants. They all say the same, all the plumbers say the same thing. Flushable wipes are not flushable. We spent so much money on this. It's $125 to $250 to get drains unclogged for a simple thing. Don't put anything in there other than toilet paper. So that's going to be something that we put on that list. That's going to be the very first item. Nothing is to go in there other than toilet paper, and in parentheses and say flushable wipes are not flushable. Because we're tired of paying for this because someone did not read our welcome email and or the lease. So we just want to be extremely clear about this up front. Something else that I'm looking at is I've had a couple of tenants get upset when they get eviction notice on the 4th of each month. What they don't understand is that a lot of people cheat the system. And so if on the 4th of the month, I communicate, hey, when am I going to get rent? Oh, you'll get it next week. Perfect. Next week comes up, hey, when am I going to get rent? Oh, you'll get it next week. I've just lost 1 or 2 weeks that I could have started the eviction process. Majority of tenants don't understand that. They think you're being harsh and aggressive and saying that they can't pay their bills. Well, if you're late, as long as you're communicating that with me up front, that's going to be on the sheet. It's going to say, if for any reason you're not going to be providing rent by the 3rd, I need to know at least a week in advance, and you will be getting an eviction notice on your door on the 4th. Now, where I'm at, there's at least a 3 business day after that before you can go to the courthouse. So on that list, I'm going to explain to them. That notice is going to be going on the 4th as long as you pay by the 7th, 8th, whatever, with the weekend, and late fees shouldn't have a problem. So there's no reason to freak out over it, but you should be communicating that up front, and this notice will be going on your door for my protection. I don't want to sit around 10 days hoping you pay me, you end up not, now I just lost a week to 2 weeks to get that process started. So, very important to be very clear. Another example with that, about assuming that tenants know something, is faucet covers. So we used to send a text or an email, hey, we'll be there this Saturday between 10 and noon, drop off faucet covers, usually 2 weeks to 4 weeks before the weather starts freezing. One tenant didn't know how to use them, and they didn't ask us, so they didn't put anything on there. The pipe bust, all of a sudden we got a water fountain in the backyard. Tenant was upset, he got a headache. I had to answer phone calls at 6, 7, 8 o'clock at night from between tenant, plumber, and we had to pay extra because it was at night. So headaches, money, no good. What we've started doing is now we send an email, hey, between this time and this time on this day, we're going to drop off faucet covers. Here's what a faucet cover is. Here's why it's needed. If you have any physical reason you're not able to do this, let me know so when I come by, I can install them for you. If you want to install them by yourself and don't know how, there's a video below. And you can simply just put on a YouTube, anyone that's teaching someone how to put on a faucet cover. That's just an example of just making sure you're extremely clear. This needs to be done. If there's any question here, let me know so I can help you. The last item here is constant update. I will say my wife is much better with paperwork, with communication. She's great at all that stuff, lucky me. So as far as the communication goes, where I'm at, we deal mostly with college students, and right around Christmas time, the weather was supposed to be under freezing for 3 days in a row. Well, if college students are going back to see their families over Christmas break, that poses a problem. So, during the month of December, we sent 2 or 3 separate emails out, each time with instructions on what to do if there's freezing weather. And we didn't just do it when it started freezing, but any time throughout the winter months that we see that there could be freezing for more than just one night, we'll send it again. And like I said before, on each one of those emails, if you have any questions whatsoever, if you're not sure how to do this, let me know. Underline it, bold it, highlight it, whatever, just so they can't say, well, I didn't understand it, or you didn't give me clear definition, or whatever. So, constant update there. Another thing that we usually do is every March or so, we drop off AC filters. I can't tell you how much money that we have wasted by having ACs not work because of dirty filters. Those are typically not cheap, depending on how frozen it is. It depends on how long you have to wait and how expensive it is. But we spend anywhere between $200 to $400 because of a dirty AC filter. That doesn't make any sense considering we purchased the filters. They're only $5 to $8. They're not bad at all. It'll save you a lot of headache and time if you could just purchase them. And we even deliver them. So what we do, we send out an email, blank day, we're going to be delivering it. If you want to install it yourself, we have a link below showing you how. If you have any reason you can't, let us know. We would much rather stay on top of it, over-communicate, get it done the right way to save ourselves a lot of money and headaches down the road. So again, these mistakes have costed me a lot of time. It's really hit a big nerve on several evenings where I'm trying to enjoy myself, and then I have stuff come up because I wasn't proactive about something. So I hope this helps. I hope you don't make the same mistakes. And I'd love for you to subscribe if this information is helpful. If you have any questions, please put it in the comments. But thank y'all so much. Y'all take care.